Welcome back, everybody, to PC Planet. With me in the virtual studio tonight is Corey. Corey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Drew, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good with this here leak of the RTX 4070, which apparently is going to offer twice on par or faster than the 3090 Ti for somewhere between $400 and $450. That sounds pretty nice to me.
It does. Like you said earlier, though, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
I will believe it when I see it because, I mean, to go from 3090 Ti for $2,000 to the same thing for $400 to $450 within a span of 2 or 3 years seems a little out there.
It does, but at the same time, they did the same thing with the 2080 Ti and the 3070. I mean, the 2080 Ti was, going for $1,200 to, $1,500, and then they launched the 3070, which was reported to be on par as a 2080 Ti for $500.
That's true.
So,
now here's a question: do you think that we're gonna have the same problem that we did last time with the 30 series, and that would be miners and scalpers?
I'm gonna say no, because two things. One is we are seeing three things, but one of them is kind of related to the first one. Also, we are seeing a lot of cards coming out with LHR or limited hash rate, which makes them, theoretically, is supposed to make them more unappealing to crypto miners. So I don't think we're going to be hit as hard by miners. And two, another part of it was because of COVID lockdowns and everything, a lot of factories were running at bare minimum, running skeleton crews. And now that things have, I don't want to say it's gone, but things have kind of settled down, I think that staffing has increased and production will increase. So I think production will increase, and I think that there will be less of a massive demand for these cards.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to be as bad as it was last time? No. Do I think maybe the initial launch might be a little rough? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. The real problem was a demand problem. They sold more 30 series cards than any other series before it.
Yeah.
They shipped more cards than ever before because there was just so much pent-up demand and so much new demand from people that were, kind of in lockdown and might not otherwise have had the time to want to get into PC gaming.
Well, that and the 30 series, honestly, it was game-changing. The 30 series was game-changing. I mean, a 2080 Ti, a $1,300 card, suddenly you could get a 3070 for $500 and have the same performance. It was game-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people saw that and they realized,
Freaked out.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, we were seeing 2080 Ti's selling on eBay for $400.
Yeah, and then the 2080 Ti's skyrocketed.
And a big part of the reason for that is a ton of people sold their 2080s and 2080 Ti's in preparation for the launch. Then the launch happened and their card had already sold, and they couldn't get a card. So suddenly, even a GTX 970 was like $400 or $500 because that was all anyone could get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember kind of at the tail end of the shortage, I suppose, when I traded a 5600 XT and $400 for a 3060, and all of a sudden the prices went.
Yeah, thankfully I got super lucky. Shout out to Jesse and Zach in our group. We all kind of banded together. Zach had his 6900 XT Merc in a secondary rig, and he was like, "That's too much for a secondary rig. That can handle a 2070." I had a 2070. Jesse had the 3070 that I wanted. So Zach sold Jesse the 6900 XT Merc. I sold Zach my 2070 for $300. And then I gave Jesse $300 I gave Jesse $300 and my 2070 for the 3070, and then he gave the $300 plus cash for Zach's 6900 XT, and Zach got my 2070.
So just a big old three-way swap.
Big old three-way swap. And it was great. And this is another awesome thing about our group is how we're here for each other. At one point, because Jesse and I are in Pueblo, Zach is in Colorado Springs, an hour away, an hour north of us. At one point, I had my 2070, I had the 3070 from Jesse, and I had the and I had all the cash from me and Jesse to give to Zach. So at one point in my car, after meeting Zach, at one point in my car, I had an RTX 3070 Aorus Master, like $600 in cash, an RTX 2070, and a 6900 XT Merc chilling in my back seat.
Yep. That's
a lot of trust. That is a hell of a lot of trust.
That's a lot of hardware.
Yeah. And yeah, the transfer went smooth as hell. Transfer went smooth as hell.
Yep. I love it.
And then about 6 to 8 months later, Jesse was like, God damn it, because the 6900 XT he paid like $1,300 for was on sale for like $850.
Yup.
Which honestly, it's like, it sucks. It sucks so bad. Because even 2 or 3 months ago, the GTX 1660 was going for $450. So we have a guy right now in the group. He's trying to offload his 1660 Super or his 1660 non-Super. And like everybody else, he paid $450 for it a couple months ago. He put it up for $280 and I approved it, but I told him, hey, get ready for a lot of lowballs because these things are retailing for under $300 now. And since then, he's changed his price to $240. I'm like, dude, 2 months later.
It's not going to sell at $240.
Yeah, 2 months later, these cards are going for $180 to $170 on eBay. And it fucking sucks for people because they just dropped $450 on this card because everyone was saying that this GPU shortage was going to go on all the way into 2023. So they're like, well, okay, everyone's saying that this is going to go to 2023. I don't have a graphics card, and I fucking need a graphics card because I sold my old one getting ready for the 30 series launch.
Yeah,
so they buy this card for $450, and then 2-3 months later, it drops to $150, and it's like, fuck you.
That's why I'm really, I feel really lucky that I got such a good deal that I did on my 6900 XT. Because, I mean, now they're retailing on Newegg for, like, just under $800.
And you got yours for, what, $700?
$702 plus tax.
$702 plus tax. His was open box. His was open box.
It was
but it was like
open box.
Yeah, it was like perfect open box. Like the guy got it, opened it up when it was like, yeah, that's not what I want. Closed box, give it back to Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, it still had the original peels on the thing.
Yeah. So Drew got a hell of a deal. My man here, he got a monster deal on a 6900 XT.
Yeah, and I was actually just doing some benchmarks earlier today on this thing, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider 1440p high, without motion blur because motion blur sucks.
I hate motion blur. Why did they even include that?
I don't know. Motion blur sucks. It should be just turned off, disabled, illegal, whatever. Motion blur sucks. So at 1440p high, no RSR, no FSR, no DLSS, no nothing like that. I got an average of 207 FPS.
That almost sounds like engine lock, I'm not gonna lie.
Speaking of engine lock, I did figure out that NBA 2K21 does have an engine limit of 240 FPS. Because I kept hitting it, and I'm like, oh, it has an engine limit. Right. I think that means it's probably time to graduate to a 144 hertz panel.
Whoa. Sorry, I was just looking over that article I sent you about AMD. Now comes the hard part, AMD software.
Oh, yes, that article that I'm not even going to pretend to understand.
Oh man, this is insane.
Well, I'll throw a link in the description if people want to read it, but read it
in a nutshell. in a nutshell, it looks like that, according to what I'm reading here, it looks like AMD is thinking about acquiring FPGA maker Xilinx. Reading through the article, it sounds like AMD is wanting to make everything that they produce FPGA. That's a field programmable gate array.
That sounds really expensive.
Basically, it means once you make a product, you ship the product, but at any time during that product's life cycle, you can manually push updates to that device.
Well, yeah, an FPGA is basically a chip that you program to act like other chips.
Well, an FPGA is a field programmable gate array. Basically,
Yes.
It means once the device is shipped, it still has an active link to the manufacturer for constant updates. Do you remember iRobot? Will Smith with iRobot?
Oh, yes, I do, but that's also not what an FPGA is.
Field programmable.
Yeah, field programmable means it can be programmed in the field, as in by an external device.
Right.
Not necessarily remotely. So FPGAs are used oftentimes in those big multi-system emulators. So like the Retron 5 uses an FPGA. There's also something called the Mister, which is a multi-game emulator, uses an FPGA. An FPGA is literally just a programmable chip, and you program logic circuits using various programming languages. Verilog is one of them. That's
so I'm going to point out that
common.
I recently learned about FPGAs because I'm going through my cybersecurity thing, and it came up in the thing. So I haven't delved a whole lot into it. Drew probably knows a lot more about it than I do because I literally just learned about them like a week ago.
You should, because FPGAs are super fun.
Today, FPGAs are gaining prominence in other field, deep neural networks. Hold up. This actually loops us back to what AMD was talking about, pervasive AI.
Pervasive. That sounds...
pervasive AI.
That's disconcerting.
Okay. Honestly, dude, this sounds like what I was talking about, where the manufacturer pushes updates and field program from the data center, because they have the cloud data center, AI training, AI inference, security, and automatic speech recognition at the cloud data center with EPYC CPUs, AMD Instinct GPUs, Alveo accelerators, Kintex FPGAs. And then we have lines going out to healthcare and life sciences, digital home, transportation with Zinc adaptive system on a chips, SoCs, ADAS autonomous vehicles, commercial and enterprise, server, PC, workstation, edge, smart retail, cashierless payment, customer re-identification, inventory management, smart city with security endpoints, traffic optimization, smart grid. It looks like they're trying to get this all running on a single cloud data center.
Huh, well...
Intelligent factory, machine vision, predictive maintenance, AI robotics. So no, this honestly, in this specific use case, it's looking, based on this graph, it's looking like exactly what I was talking about. Here, you know what? For the YouTube video, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and share what I'm talking about. Let's see, am I sharing the right screen? Pretty sure I'm sharing the right screen.
No, you're sharing on your vertical screen.
Yeah, that's the right screen.
Okay.
Let me bring it over. Boom, I got my
There we go. Oh god, this is Skynet.
Yeah, look, based on what I'm seeing here, the way I'm interpreting this is they're wanting to get all of this running under a single cloud data center.
Yeah, I've played this game before. It's called Watch Dogs. And let me tell you, this is not good. I do not want whatever this is.
I mean, that's, like I said, man, that's honestly, I get what you're saying about FPGAs and how, like users, logic gates, all that good stuff. But this looks like the basic definition of the FPGA that was in my cybersecurity, where the manufacturer sends out the material and that at any time they basically control the software updates to that system, or they can control the software updates to that system.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a functionality of a product, but that's not necessarily, inherent to FPGAs specifically.
Okay, I was unaware of that. Now I am. Thank you, Drew.
However, this pervasive AI, yes, I've played that video game before. It's called Watch Dogs. No.
Access to a whole new set of new embedded customers. Selling sales are really about the software. Group mixes together embedded CPUs and GPUs from AMD with Z-Links FPGAs and has over 6,000 customers. Yada 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 yada. Central to the strategy is AMD's pursuit of what Peng called pervasive AI, and that means using a mix of CPUs, GPUs, and FPGAs to address this exploding market, leveraging the work that AMD has done designing exascale systems in conjunction with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and some of the major HPC centers of the world to continue to flesh out an HPC stack.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I understand a little bit of that. I feel like Ed from Good Burger, where he's like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know some of these words."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just based on this graph right here,
that's scary to me.
This is literally an entire city running on artificial intelligence out of a cloud data center.
Yeah, that's scary to me. I don't think I want that.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see. So next one, I'm gonna let you take the reins on here, because speaking of robots and artificial intelligence, we have a new Terminator survival game that, well, I'll let you point out the flaws.
So it's cool. It looks cool. I have concerns though, because according to Nacon Studio Milan, they revealed a brief teaser for the project showing a T800 model Terminator endoskeleton on the hunt for human prey. Cool. T800 Terminator. Woo! The untitled Terminator game will be set after the events of Judgment Day, but before John Connor leads the Resistance. Any of you Terminator fans out there will catch it right there. The T800 was not designed prior. It was designed by Skynet in response to John Connor's efforts. It was after John Connor. So why do we have a T800 before John Connor? Why?
Well,
the only thing
it's not a T800, is it?
It's a T850. It's a T850. You can tell by the knuckle joints, okay, and the hydraulics on the trapezius muscles. Although the T850 and the T800, neither of those had the front-facing body panels, armored body plates. So maybe they're trying to pull like a Terminator Genesis, where it's in like its own separate timeline. Woo! It's an alternate timeline. We can do whatever we want. But yeah, they according to T1, T2, and T3. I know T3 sucks, but it's part of the timeline. It is what it is. According to T1, T2, and T3, and actually Terminator Salvation, which also occurred in a alternate timeline. And John Connor saw the design for the T800, and he was like, "No, this is too soon. This is too fucking soon." So even John Connor in Terminator Salvation was like, why is a T800 already here? This is supposed to be way ahead. So yeah, why is there a T800 prior to John Connor's resistance against the machines? It makes no sense to me. I'm curious what they're doing with that. Anyways, that's my little nerd, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I am not a Terminator nerd like you are.
The only thing Skynet had prior to the actual resistance formation was the T1s, and then when the resistance started forming, Skynet developed the T600, which was like a base model human replicant, and its face was like plastic and all that. And even like the resistance actually had dogs that could sniff out the T600s because they looked and smelled fake. So the T800 was like full on cybernetic endoskeleton with an organic skin shell. Like it could bleed, it could grow hair, it could sweat, he could cry. Like, yeah, there was no T800 prior to John Connor's resistance. That's bullshit. The only thing they had was the T600 tops. Anyways.
Yeah, so Terminator Ranch.
If you're gonna make a game, make it right.
That's a free tech.
Gotcha.
That's a free production tip there. Another free tech tip: stop putting GT 1030s in PCs.
I hate this. I'm
sharing this tab right here.
Okay.
The CyberPower PC Gamer Master GMA 600V4 AMD Ryzen 3 8GB memory GeForce GT 1030 blah 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 blah. This thing is $1,000 or $59.99 a month.
And on Best Buy's website, it is hang on.
It's like half that.
Yeah, well, on Best Buy's website, it's almost 800.
Oh yeah, then on like Newegg, it's half that or something like that.
It's or on Amazon, it's $549. But even so, $549.
Let's look at the specs here. Here's what you get for $1,000. You get a Ryzen 3 3100 on a really, really cheap ASRock board.
An A320M.
Yeah. Ouch.
An A fucking 320, dude.
In 2022. You get a 500 gig NVMe solid state drive. Ooh, I bet it doesn't have a DRAM cache.
And guaranteed, because it's an A320, it's still running PCI Gen 3.
Oh, of course. It's only got 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM. And if we look
is a single, yep, that is single
channel.
And that looks like G-Skill. Is that G-Skill?
Yes, that does look like G-Skill.
That looks like a single stick of G-Skill RAM, and I can almost guarantee it's running at 2933 megahertz.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, 2133.
And we've got NVIDIA GeForce GT 1030 graphics.
I mean, that could render a decent Excel sheet.
Maybe if it's the GDDR5 version, but we don't fucking know because it doesn't say.
Yeah, and
it's got
even
the
photos, and even the photos are lying.
Yeah, this photo is fake. There is
not a
no
1030.
GT 1030 that I am aware of, or that we could even find before recording this, that has external PCIe power.
And you know what, Drew? Actually, can I share my screen for a second?
Go for it.
So check this out. Let me go ahead and bring my screen over. Hang on. My pop filter bracket is covering the zoom icon.
It happens.
Okay, so let me go ahead and share screen. What's that? Yeah. Okay. Let me move the screen sharing bar over. So Yep. Here we go. So here's the system from Best Buy. Now, we already saw in the photo from Best Buy and from CyberPower that this is the graphics card. Look at this. You buy the computer. This is the graphics card you get. Well, let's look at the first review. Look at that graphics card in there.
That's a 1030.
That's a 1030, which means these pictures are fucking fake. They're fake.
Yeah, totally fake.
This is false marketing at its finest.
Or at its worst.
And here's another thing.
That cooler is very suspect.
It is because it looks like a standard AMD Wraith Stealth, but it doesn't have any of the branding of the AMD Stealth, which leads me to believe that they might have gotten the freaking CPU wholesale with no CPU cooler, and they just got a bunch of Wraith Stealth heat sinks and slapped a bullshit 80mm fan on there. But here's another thing. You have a computer like this, a lot of people are going to be putting this up against a wall. You know, like this. Can you see my cursor moving?
Oh yeah.
So like this side right here is going to be up against the wall. I mean, like my computer, it's up against the wall. But the difference here is I have a LAN Cool 2 mesh, so it has front intake. This thing is pulling air in from the back. So if you put this thing up against the wall, you're gonna suffocate the shit out of those fans, and it's gonna make the top turn into a secondary bullshit intake, because that's the only place it could get air from. And at the same time it's gonna be fighting thermodynamics, because the hot air is going to be rising at the top. So you have this 120 mil rear fan trying to pull in cool air through a top vent, fighting against the current of the hot air going out the top.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's a GT 1030 and a Ryzen 3 3100, so temps are probably not going to be an issue. But if you want to upgrade that to literally any other processor or any other graphics card, you're going to run into some problems.
You're gonna have to put it into a new case. Oh, hey, looky here. They comes with its own keyboard. Bet you that's membrane.
Oh, absolutely it is.
Just, guy, stop.
Stop.
This is even labeled Gamer Master Gaming Desktop.
what part of that is gaming?
Dude, this has a Ryzen 3 3100. I'm going to point out that that's not the G variant.
No, it's not.
So we have a quad-core Ryzen 3 3100, 8 gigs of RAM, and a GT 1030. That is a media PC at best.
Well, the Fingerhut listing says it's 3D ready, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, because there's no way the freaking GT 1030 can support any kind of Oculus or anything like that.
3D ready as in it can display 3D polygons very slowly.
Or maybe it is 3D ready where it has the stereoscopic where it's like red and blue and, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Well, welcome to 1995 again.
Yeah, welcome to 1990s 3D. Oh my lord.
Hey man. To 10-year-old me, that stereoscopic was the shit.
Hell yeah, it was.
I don't know if you remember those comics that came out that were stereoscopic and they came with the clear plastic and they had the little paper red and blue glasses that you could put on and read your comics. Good times.
I wish they'd done that with Captain Underpants.
Yeah. But no, for real, Cyberpower, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself for that.
I'm so glad we're not like monetized. We would have been demonetized like 19 times during this podcast alone.
Probably. But that's fine. Because fuck you, Cyberpower.
What else you got, Drew?
What else we got? We got a Threadripper 5995WX sample.
Oh, dude, this thing is a monster.
64 core sample got overclocked to 4.82 gigahertz.
Now, to a lot of you out there, they may not sound like a big deal because it's like, what's the big deal? I mean, my CPU, I've got a 12th gen i9 and it goes up to 5 gigahertz. Yeah, well, this is on all 64 cores.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of not. It's between 4.6 and a 4.8.
Yeah.
But that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, because that is a all-core overclock. All-core. 64.
3D Mark gives it a CPU score of 32,950.
That's one of those things you just have to laugh at.
The current record-holding score on the 3D Mark website is 27,202.
Yeah, that's like hearing or watching a minigun fire for the first time. You're just like,
yeah.
Oh my lord. If you wanted to get close to 4.8 gigahertz, you would need to use cooling such as LN2, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, and you're also going to have a really well binned chip.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at let me check out the video real fast. Hang on, I'm trying to see what I'm not seeing how they did it, but I'm willing to bet they used LN2.
It's a really long video. It's almost an hour long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going through I was kind of skimming through the video here, and I don't see where they actually show the rig itself, but I'm willing to bet that's a liquid nitrogen system.
Oh, wait, absolutely.
Oh, wait, no, cooling was achieved with the custom loops, and no exotic cooling was used like liquid nitro.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so apparently they just ran a custom loop.
All right.
Well, that puts it firmly in the territory of, if you can afford the Threadripper 5000 series, go for it. Try to hit all-core 4.8.
Yeah, if you can afford the $7,000 for the 5995WX.
Excuse you, it's not that expensive. It's only $6,500.
Oh, excuse me. Whoa.
But seriously though, $6,500. God damn. God damn.
No.
I'm sorry,
but
if you're the type of person who can afford a rig like that, it's like, all right, so I just got done playing some Red Dead Redemption 2 on my gaming rig. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it for a second, go jump into my Ferrari to run to the gas station for a beer run.
Really?
And I only get IPA because I'm a pretentious prick.
Exactly.
Man.
In other AMD news, we have some news on AMD's hardware video encoder.
Drew, take it away. You're the AMD guy.
So, Yes, I have an AMD GPU, so this is actually important to me. Well, it's not that important to me because I use Final Cut Pro, and Final Cut Pro does not actually use hardware encoder. No matter which GPU you have, it doesn't even matter. Although Apple's ProRes encoder is very, very fast. It's actually faster. It's faster than NVENC.
Yeah, but if you want a 100 gig file,
this is true. So
it's fast. It's fast as hell, but its compression ratio fucking sucks.
Yeah, and that's because it's not designed for that. It's designed for pro video. So AMD's hardware video encoder has classically been not great. It's okay, but it's not great. Yeah. Well, AMD has finally introduced B-frames. I'm not going to pretend I understand exactly what B-frames are, but they basically allow the compression algorithm to predict image data from both past frames and future frames in a video stream. It's technically an optional feature, but it significantly increases the image quality of streams at lower bit rates. The fact that AMD has brought these back to its encoder is really, really nice.
I see kind of what it's talking about. I could be wrong. Let me Google real fast. I think I know what B frame.
Yeah, they're paired with I and P frames to build compressed video. The original decoder and encoder engine did support B frames, but they dropped it with RDNA 1.
Okay, so yeah, B frames are basically you've seen those TVs that offer smart motion.
Yep.
So basically, what it's doing, motion interpolation. Motion interpolation uses B frames. Motion interpolation looks at one frame, it looks at the next frame, and then it extrapolates a fake frame to go in the middle, so you get a higher frame rate off of a lower frame rate source file.
Yeah, exactly.
That uses B frame. So it looks like they're kind of going along the same process.
Yeah, which is really, really good.
It is.
Now, speed is probably still not going to be as fast as NVENC, but quality should be right up there.
Nice. That's definitely gonna, if that pans out, that's definitely gonna put more stress on NVIDIA to ramp things up.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of stress, you can de-stress with lockdown mode on iPhones. Apple has introduced an interesting protection mechanism called lockdown mode. And lockdown mode is basically for the paranoid among you. And for those who might actually be targets of state-sponsored surveillance. Lockdown mode on iOS 16, iPad OS 16, and macOS Ventura is going to super harden your devices. When you go into lockdown mode, most message attachment types other than images are blocked. Some features like link previews are disabled. Web browsing, certain complex web technologies like just-in-time or JIT JavaScript compilation are disabled unless the user excludes a trusted site from lockdown mode. JIT compilation basically turns JavaScript into bytecode that your processor runs natively to make it super fast. So in lockdown mode, websites that use JavaScript heavily are going to be very slow, but that's kind of the point.
Slow with better security.
Yes. And
again, like for the paranoid of you out there that are accessing the internet through a VPN and running through like 8 different proxy servers, again, slow for the sake of security.
Yep. And Apple services are also locked down. Incoming invitations and service requests, including FaceTime calls, are blocked if the user has not previously sent the initiator a call or request. So if somebody tries to call you on FaceTime and you've never called them before, it'll just automatically block. Wired connections with a computer or accessory are blocked when the iPhone is locked. So, I'm not fully understanding this one. I don't know why you would lock down the wired connection, but it could be to prevent somebody from plugging in your phone and doing things with it. The last one, and this is really important, configuration profiles cannot be installed and the device cannot enroll into mobile device management MDM while lockdown mode is turned on. Now, this is the important one, I think, because a lot of state-sponsored surveillance involves surreptitiously enrolling a device into mobile device management. And once your device is enrolled into mobile device management, whichever person administrates that mobile device management system now has complete access to your phone and can do whatever the hell they want.
Yep.
So if you're in lockdown mode, that's not going to happen.
Give me a second. I need to get wife in bed.
Okay.
You were talking about lockdown.
Yeah, so lockdown mode, yeah. Basically, it locks down your phone. Make sure that sneaky stuff cannot happen. And this is really, really good for people's privacy. Really, really good if you're worried about, getting hacked or spied upon or any of that sort of stuff. It's going to come out in iOS 16, iPadOS 16, and the next version of macOS Ventura. Now, one thing also I'm a little bit concerned about is it does not provide an option to disable the built-in microphone, camera, GPS, or cellular capability. So I think it's a good start. It's a great start, in fact. I think they could do more.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't go that far because they didn't want people being like, oh, they're taking too much from it.
Yeah, and there's this tweet from John Scott Railton. It brings up a really good point. There's a common mental barrier among big platforms and operating system developers around making high security features mainstream. And there's a lot of considerations like a worse user experience, especially a worse user experience versus the competition, breaking things, more customer support required, that sort of thing. So you do have to consider kind of where you draw the line between privacy and convenience.
Yeah. Now, kind of an abrupt segue here. Let's say when it comes to your phone, security isn't what you're going for. Let's say you want to go for just gaming. You want to game on your phone. You want to play Call of Duty, PUBG, Gary's Adventure, or whatever that game is called.
Gary's Mod. I love that game.
Gary's Mod. There it is. The Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro is an absolute monster. Now, for one thing, your normal Samsung phones, your OnePluses, you have the layout of the phone, and then you have a battery here, and then the chip up top, the processor up top. The ROG phone doesn't do that. It has segmented battery here, and the processor is in the middle. Why? Because there's a graphite sheet on top of the chipset that adheres to the back plate of the phone itself.
Wow.
So you can actually, the phone, they actually have an external fan that can be mounted to the back of the phone for active cooling. Why does it need active cooling, you would think? Check this out. This phone ships with both a glass front, glass back aluminum frame, has a 2-inch OLED panel on the back. The front panel is an AMOLED 165 hertz panel, HDR10 plus, with a resolution of 1080 by 2448.
That is a beast.
Yeah, it gets even better. The processor inside is a Qualcomm SM8450 Snapdragon 8th Gen running on a 4 nanometer process. It is a octa-core processor, has one CPU core running at 3.19 gigahertz, and that's the Cortex X2 processor, and then it has three 2.75 gigahertz Cortex A710 processors and four 1.8 gigahertz A510 processors. It is running the Adreno 730 graphics, has 18 gigabytes of RAM.
That thing's got more RAM than my video card.
Yeah, this thing is insane. This thing is absolutely insane. The camera is like the S21 and S22s, where it can shoot up to 8K at 24 FPS. And the main camera is a triple lens 50 millimeter or 50 megapixel 50 megapixel camera with 1.9 aperture.
I'll take one.
Yeah. And honestly, the price at 1,300 euros isn't awful by comparison. I mean, the S22 Ultras are, $1,000. The Galaxy Fold is almost $2,000. So this honestly isn't crazy price-wise. It's right in the range of other flagship devices.
That's true, but I'm not going to spend another $1,000 on a phone. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on any phone. Asus, call me.
I do a lot of video editing, so the 8K is kind of important for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this phone is an absolute freaking monster. It has a 6,000 watt lithium polymer, a 6,000 milliamp lithium polymer battery with 65 watt fast charging. Hits 100% in 42 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And what's cool is, here's another feature. It has 10 watt reverse wireless charging. So
nice.
if you have Galaxy Buds or something like that, you can flip your phone over, put your Galaxy Buds on top, and they will wirelessly charge off the back of your phone.
Hey, that's a pretty sweet feature.
Anyways, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, this phone is a beast. Oh, it has 2 USB ports.
It has 2 USB ports.
It has a USB Type-C 2.0 on the bottom and a USB Type-C 3.1 on the side.
Oh, I bet one of them is for a controller.
Actually, technically, they're both for anything. Because if you're playing a game, you don't want a cable coming off the side because then it gets in the way. So you plug it in here on the middle port. Yeah. Or if the cable on the side doesn't bother you, you can plug it in on the side, and then you can mount the external fan on the back of the system.
How about that?
Yeah, pretty sweet. Whoa! It has pressure-sensitive zones on the back of the device that act as L and R gaming triggers.
Nice.
Yeah, so it actually has triggers.
Give me some emulators.
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty dope. That is pretty dope.
Give me a PlayStation emulator. That'd be sweet.
So yeah. Did you have anything else, Drew?
I sure don't. I think that's gonna wrap things up for this one. As always, PC Planet is brought to you by the Southern Colorado Computer Enthusiasts. Do not forget to visit us both online and on Facebook. Online, scce.group. You can find all the links to all our socials in the links in the description.
And I'm going to do something a bit different this time, Drew. What is the Southern Colorado Computer Enthusiasts?
Well, that's a good question. The Southern Colorado Computer Enthusiasts is a mainly Facebook-based group. We buy, sell, trade, discuss computers, anything computers. We focus on fair pricing, which is not as big of a deal as it used to be because the pricing has gone way down, thank God.
Yeah.
We are anti-scalper, anti-bullshit. No laugh reacts if somebody posts a part. It's not cool, guys. Just don't.
If you have a problem with the sale listing, reach out to our moderation team. Don't go laughing at the guy because you could laugh at a sale listing because you're like, oh, I had that card and it sucked, ha 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 ha. And then you could have another guy that's rocking a GT 710 and he seriously needs an upgrade and he's looking at a 2070 or something like that you laughed at, which is it may actually be a good deal, but it pushes that guy with the 710 away because he's like, oh, somebody who knows more than I did laughed at that listing, so it must be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. Your little click laugh, that just cost the seller a sale, and that just cost a buyer a potential GPU. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And then most recently, as of last week, we did launch our new community forums. Be sure to go check those out, boards.scc.group. We would love to have you there. It's a little bit quiet right now.
It'll get there.
join in the conversation.
And if you don't see a whole lot on the page, don't worry. Drop an introduction for yourself. The rest of it will
Yep. Drop us an introduction. I should mention the very first post is going to be manually approved. Once your first introductory post is approved, you'll have access to the rest of the forum, and
it's kind of our own little bot security thing, so that way we don't just get like spam accounts just popping in there.
Yep, pretty much.
So yeah, cool.
Anything you want to add there, Corey?
If you're not big on Facebook, we also do have a boosted Discord server. If you happen to play games like Ark Survival Evolved, we have our own server for that as well. We do have our YouTube channel. This podcast will be uploaded to both Spotify, and the video format will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Let's see, what else do we got? Facebook page, Facebook group, YouTube channel, Discord server, website. Technically have an email server too. I think that's pretty much it though.
Yeah, pretty much. As always, links to all of our sources will be in the description, as well as links to the website and the Facebook group and the Discord server.
They'll be here, whatever platform you're on, the links will be here somewhere.
Yeah, they'll be somewhere. Just look for them. You'll find them.
Just look for them. You'll find them. Yeah. So
that's going to wrap things up for this week. This has been an awesome episode of PC Planet, and we will see you guys next week.